What is going on, everyone? So it's been a minute since I did a comparison, and I'm actually completely lying. It's only been like a couple days, not even a day, dude. I just did the Google Pixel 3 XL ones like yesterday. But I want to do a quick comparison pretty much between the iPhone 6 Plus and the iPhone 6s Plus. And the way this is going to work, I'm going to go over some of the specs, the camera, all that stuff. And then I'm going to do a speed test and kind of do a little follow-up, like roundup, sum up of the video basically, and tell you which is going on now. Realistically, I think the iPhone 6s Plus is a much better phone than the 6 Plus, but let's just see how much better it is. Now, if you want to skip to the speed test, I'll put the screen up, I'll put a time up right now so you can skip to it. Go to that if you want to go to it, but you enjoy the rest of the video if you want to. Now, in terms of both, they pretty much feel exactly the same in the hand. The iPhone 6 Plus and the 6s Plus really are the same exact body, same exact screen size, same exact screen type, and pretty much everything the same. Now, some of the main changes are actually within the inside, but in terms of what they look like, they look exactly the same. Now, one thing with the 6s Plus though, is that it does technically have better aluminum, so it is built better than the 6 Plus. If you guys remember, the 6 Plus had bend gate and all those types of problems, but it is fixed on the 6s Plus, so it's not going to bend as easily. Now, if you want, you can easily bend this thing with like your bare hands, but the 6 Plus, you can even see this one's a little bent. I just realized that. Hold on, let me zoom in. I don't know if you can tell or not, but this phone is actually bent. That's crazy. I did not know that. Like right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Oh my, you can even feel the screen. That's pretty crazy, dude. I mean, I'm kind of sad about it. It doesn't really show up that well on the camera, but in real life, it really looks pretty bent. And that's pretty much what was happening. I didn't know it was even up to here, but it usually was the center of the devices that was bending. I'm not going to bend this one, but the 6s Plus is supposed to be a little bit better in terms of it, so that is a good sign. They both came out a year after each other. The 6s and the 6s Plus actually share the same specs, just like the 6 Plus and the 6 regular version, in terms of just the specs inside. But there's a humongous difference between these two though. Now, one cool thing that the iPhone 6s Plus actually brought was Force Touch. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, Force Touch isn't cool, they did this and that, and they removed it on the iPhone XR for no reason. But I use it all the time, especially on an iPhone like this. You're able to Force Touch into the side to get into multitasking. Obviously, you can get into more panels of an app, into the settings if you want to Force Touch on that. You can get into all these different things as well. And I really like that. And I don't know why they took it out on the iPhone XR. I say it in every single comparison iPhone video I do. The absence of it on the iPhone 6 Plus isn't that horrible, I will say. As much as I hate to admit it, you can still use the phone. The phone is still completely usable. It's just a little bit of an annoyance. I mean, some things that you might want to do, like you can't Force Touch on the side. You can't Force Touch on an app. If you go into messages or something like that, and you can hold it down, but you can't Force Touch into an app, and you can't Force Touch into messages thing to quickly text back to people. So it is kind of an annoyance, and I mean, it's really up to you. That is a completely hardware thing though. I heard there were jailbreak tweaks that allowed you to actually get into Force Touch and stuff, but I don't know how accurate that was. But then again, this is an older phone, so it's really up to you. I don't want to bash the 6 Plus because that came out before Force Touch was even made, but it is what it is. But just know there is a difference between those two in terms of that. But the funny thing is, in terms of software, I was not expecting this. A lot of people might say, oh, they look the same, so they're going to be the same, but they're not. The iPhone 6s Plus will last you longer than the 6 Plus. And what I mean by that is I probably would not recommend people to get a 6 Plus right now, but I would completely recommend people to get a 6s Plus. And it's not even that crazy of a statement just because it is newer and stuff like that, but I still think the 6s Plus is an amazing phone. It's still a great phone. It's not amazing. It's not like out of this world, but one thing to remember is that the iPhone 6 Plus did come out a year earlier. So because of that, the iPhone 6 Plus is pretty much going to be done on iOS 12. It's not going to get any more software updates, which is kind of sad, but it's kind of a given. You guys should have expected it. With the iPhone 6s Plus though, it's still going to get one more version of iOS. So it's still going to get iOS 13. It's going to get all of iOS 12, and it's going to get all of iOS 13. Now, depending on how bad iOS 13 is, they could go and actually extend it out a little bit longer. I don't know the possibility of that. They have a tendency of doing it sometimes. With the iPhone 5s, they extended it. But with the 6s Plus, I could see it, honestly. If iOS 13 is bad, or if they want to keep it longer, they could. Because the iPhone 6s Plus, honestly, is not slow at all. Usually they stop supporting devices if they're slow or whatever. The 5s definitely is not being supported. The iPhone 6 Plus is definitely not being supported. All those phones have 1GB of RAM. But with an iPhone like the iPhone 6s Plus, I could totally see them extending it. It's really up to them, but really in terms of that, the 6s Plus, whichever way you look at it, is still going to last you longer in terms of software updates than the iPhone 6 Plus. Now, in terms of the camera sensors, we have an 8-megapixel camera on the iPhone 6 Plus and a 12-megapixel camera on the iPhone 6s Plus. Now, believe it or not, every single iPhone, even the newer ones, all have 12-megapixel sensors. So they actually haven't increased that size, which is okay because those cameras are much better than this. But the iPhone 6s Plus camera is not bad at all. It's actually very, very decent. I'll tell you one thing, the iPhone 6 Plus, one huge disadvantage of it was that you weren't able to shoot 4K videos on it, which honestly in 2014, not a lot of people were shooting 4K on it, but it's still like one cool thing to have. It's a nice thing to have. We were able to shoot 1080p at 60 frames per second, but that's pretty much it. Whereas on the 6s Plus, because of the extra megapixels, not only does it support OIS, which the 6 Plus also supports, but you were able to shoot 4K at 30 frames per second and 1080p at up to 120 frames per second. So that is a pretty big advantage in my opinion. So in terms of both, the 6s Plus is still very, very good. The 6 Plus isn't horrible, but I would say the 6s Plus is definitely at least like a 7.5 out of 10, or even at like a 7 out of 10 to a 7.5 out of 10. The 6 Plus is probably like a 5.5 out of 10. And including the front cameras, the iPhone 6 Plus had a 1.2 megapixel camera. The iPhone 6s Plus has a 5 megapixel camera. And in terms of both, I mean, just from the megapixel count alone, I would still assume the iPhone 6s Plus is better. But honestly, like, I don't really see that much of a difference. I mean, they're both pretty decent, but I would still prefer the 6s Plus just because of the more megapixels. And because of those more megapixels, you're able to shoot 1080p on the front camera on the 6s Plus, where you're not able to do that on the 6 Plus. Now, in terms of the performance and the app opening speeds and everything, we'll go ahead and do those in a second, but let me just run through the specs with you real quick. The iPhone 6 Plus had the Apple A8 chip, a dual-core CPU clocked at 1.4 GHz, and 1 GB of RAM, where the iPhone 6s Plus had the Apple A9 chipset, a dual-core CPU clocked at 1.84 GHz, and 2 GB of RAM. And in my opinion, I already am going to assume the 6s Plus is going to nail the 6 Plus out of the water. But you have to remember that the iPhone 6 Plus only had 1 GB of RAM. I think the iPhone 5 even had 1 GB of RAM. So that is a very low amount. An iOS device, in my opinion, should have at least 2 GB of RAM. And if you have 2 GB of RAM, you pretty much future-proof yourself. But I'm kind of curious, this is more so than just a comparison between a 6 Plus and a 6s Plus. This is a comparison between 1 GB of RAM and 2 GB of RAM. So let's actually see how they perform. So we have the 6 Plus on this side and the 6s Plus on this side, and I might accidentally move the camera around or accidentally hit this or that, but it's all good. The content is still the same. So let's go ahead and make sure everything's cleared out in the back. So I gotta clear this one out. Okay, I cleared out both of them. All apps should be updated. As you can see, Real Racing 3 is still the same on both. So let's go ahead and load up some simple apps. Let's go and do the camera. 3, 2, 1. Okay. I don't know. I made a really weird sound. Maybe the 6s Plus was faster. Let's do photos. 3, 2, 1. Okay. I think I might have been uneven in clicking them. Let's do calendar. 3, 2, 1. Definitely faster on the iPhone 6s Plus, sorry. Let's do mail. 3, 2, 1. Again, much faster, and that's really pretty crazy in my opinion. Let's do maps. 3, 2, 1. Again, much faster on the iPhone 6s Plus. And now we're kind of seeing the speed. I guess in the beginning it was a little rocky. Let's do clock. 3, 2, 1. Again, I could see that it opened up a little bit faster on the iPhone 6s Plus. Let's do weather. 3, 2, 1. Again, it just opens it up immediately on the iPhone 6s Plus. Let's go ahead and do stocks. 3, 2, 1. Again, just gets right into it. Even though this is still loading and stuff, I'll go ahead and redo it too, just so you guys don't think I'm trying to be biased or anything. Let's do stocks again. 3, 2, 1. And again, as you can see, it gets right into it. Pretty cool stuff. Let's do notes. 3, 2, 1. It gets immediately almost. Not immediately, but it loaded up faster. Let's do reminders. 3, 2, 1. Okay, it kind of glitched on both, but ooh, that was a close one. I don't really know which one was faster, but you guys will be able to see it. Let's do news. 3, 2, 1. And of course I gotta get that thing in it. But I will reload both of them so we can get a little bit more of a... Let's do news again. 3, 2, 1. As you can see, much faster. And like I said, both of these are on the same version. They're both on iOS 12. 12.0.1 for that matter. Let's do iTunes Store. 3, 2, 1. Come on. Okay, faster on the iPhone 6s Plus, surprisingly. I didn't think it was ever going to load, but okay. Let's do App Store. 3, 2, 1. Again, much faster on the iPhone 6s Plus. I keep getting these confused. Let's do iBooks. 3, 2, 1. Okay, faster on the iPhone 6s Plus again, and still took a while to load on the iPhone 6 Plus. Let's go ahead and do Let's go ahead and move to the second page. You guys already know the 6S Plus is going to beat it. Let's do the watch app. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 6S Plus beats it yet again. No surprise there. Let's go ahead and do Real Race. Let's go to Twitter. 3, 2, 1. Yep, 6S Plus beats it again. This one takes a while to load up into even the same page. It's pretty crazy. Let's do Snapchat. 3, 2, 1. Again, faster on the iPhone 6S Plus. Let's go ahead and do Facebook. 3, 2, 1. Again, faster. The 1 extra gigabyte of RAM is pretty insane, I would say, and also the chipset. Let's do YouTube. 3, 2, 1. Now I think I'm already logged in here. I honestly don't know, but it's already technically loaded. Yeah, okay, you can see that it's already loaded on the iPhone 6S Plus where it wasn't on the iPhone 6 Plus. Let's do Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. Hopefully I don't get any pop-ups here because I just downloaded it. I always get like such an annoying pop-up. Let's just see what happens. No, we good. All right. Okay, it's on this one. Okay. But you can see this one loaded up way faster than this one. And this is like a very basic game. It's not like extremely heavy or anything like that. And you can see how choppy it is on here and how much smoother it was on that one. Now let's load up Real Racing 3. 3, 2, 1. Now this is going to be pretty interesting because this is a pretty heavy intensive game. And you can see we're already ahead on this one. And I'm pretty sure we're going to load up into the game faster on this one as well. Now, I think I'm further in this game than in this game. So technically speaking, this one might boot into it faster. But you can see through the loading screen. No, this one even beat it. But I think I was already in this game, which is pretty interesting just because that one is so much faster. You can see like the difference here. Like this one is like miles ahead of this one. No pun intended. I know they're driving cars, but you know, I'm not trying to like... But okay, now this one's fully into the game. This one was into the game once a car booted up. So pretty insane stuff. I'm pretty happy about it. Let me show you guys the multi-core score real quick. 3, 2, 1. I don't even know why I did that. But so we have a multi-core score. I'll wait until this one is. But this one's, okay, so we have 81,160 on here and 150,717 on the iPhone 6S Plus. So overall, the iPhone 6S Plus is going to be faster. But one little sad thing I want to note though is that even though this iPhone 6S Plus is better overall, I would say, technically speaking, the iPhone 6 Plus does kind of have better battery life than the iPhone 6S Plus. And it's not because it's like better at software management or anything like that. It's literally just because the iPhone 6 Plus has a bigger battery than the 6S Plus, which is kind of sad. But I think it's definitely okay too. I mean, the 6S Plus is definitely a worthwhile upgrade in my opinion than the 6 Plus. You should definitely consider getting a 6S Plus than the 6 Plus. And yeah, I mean, you can see from here, not only from the speed perspective, but literally just in like everything, features, camera, everything. It's like awesome. And that is pretty much it. I will leave a link in the description for a 6S Plus if you want to pick it up. I would definitely recommend picking a 6S Plus up over a 6 Plus. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, Low File Alpaca. I do a lot more iOS comparisons, so if you guys like this type of video, you will almost 99% like the videos on my other channel as well. So definitely check that out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.